So today we're sitting down with Michael Ležaja, founder and lead buyer's agent at Pinnacle Buyers Agents. With more than 15 years across Australia's property cycles and over 600 million in deals secured for his clients, Michael has built one of the country's most trusted boutique buyer-only agencies. He's known for his disciplined negotiation, off-market access, and an approach that consistently gives his clients an unfair advantage in the property market. He's also host of Property Banter and a regular voice in media. So here's my discussion with Michael. Enjoy. I've done a bit of research on you.
Yeah.
Right. And I've been watching a lot of your content, which I think is super engaging, by the way. So there's a number that's floating around out there, about $600+ million in property purchases and investments for your clients, right? For Pinnacle Buyers Agency. But what I want to know is before Pinnacle, what were you doing? Like, what's your background story there?
I'm just a security guard.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Struggled at school.
Yep.
Was not one to listen very much. It's funny. I only absorb information that I want to absorb. But obviously kicked out of school. Didn't have aspirations to go to uni because I could not sit and learn and be lectured.
Yeah.
And ended up becoming a security guard. And started a small subcontracting business with a few staff.
Yep.
Earning, $15 an hour. And
Wow.
That was
That's
it.
right, kids. Back in the day, $15 an hour was relatively an okay salary, right?
It's okay. And I worked 7 days. So I remember one shift I pulled, which probably was illegal. I wasn't supposed to work that, but I worked from like 4 p.m. on a Friday through till 7 a.m. on a Monday.
Yeah, right.
A couple of naps in between, but
Yeah.
like wherever I could work, I worked
Yeah.
the 7 days because you had to, with $15, you really had to work a lot of hours to save the money, right?
So how did you go from that into real estate? That's a paradigm shift to a point, right? It's weird.
It's funny, isn't it? So what happened was I ended up buying my first home, and after that was interested in property. And when I realized,
ask how old you were at that
I was turning 22.
22
at the time. I was just about to turn 22, just before my 22nd birthday.
That's good. So you started young, because that's quite a young age.
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah. Okay. Because most young people are not. Well, it's a challenge for them now, like we are just talking off camera, but they're not buying properties till their 30s.
Yeah.
Right, some of them.
100%. And it wasn't any easier. What it was putting down the 5% deposit on a $380,000 home and using the first homeowners grant, which waived the stamp duty. And it's pretty much the same as what it was today. It was no different. And you need to come up with that 5%. It's the same scheme that's out there now. And property wasn't any easier to get into. It's always tough when you got no money and everything's expensive, right?
So, hey, just quickly, I want to sidetrack a little bit. So the 5% is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Is because there's 20, there's 15, there's 10, and there's 5.
Yes.
Not a lot of people go in for the 5 because they don't think that some banks don't take that deal, right? So what are you seeing in the market at the moment? Is your advice, okay, just come up with 5% deposit and just rock and roll and pay lender's insurance and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I believe in LMI. I've paid a lot of LMI throughout the course of my time, and especially when I had that period where I bought, which we'll come to later, but when I bought 14 properties in 12 months, I paid so much LMI, it's not funny, just to get into the property. Because when the market's rising, you'd rather pay the penalty of the LMI fee, right, just to get in the market, in a rising market.
100%.
Because, within a couple of weeks, you've made that money back. It's tax deductible as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and my first couple of properties, I went in under 20%, so I had to pay it.
Yeah.
Just to get into the market, because I couldn't afford and I didn't have time to save 20%.
Yeah.
The difference between 5 and 20 is a lot, right?
Yeah, but you can't. So if you're there on the sidelines trying to save 20%, that market's moved so much that you can't catch that market. So it's better that you pay the LMI and get in, and then you're in. The assets growing in value all the time, as we can see in Queensland right now. Was up, I think, was the average $36,000 last month.
Well,
you couldn't have saved $36,000 in the month on a standard wage, right?
No. Well, no, it takes years.
Yeah.
Like, even for a young couple, and I really do want to create this discussion around how can young people watch this and walk out with intelligence to move towards prosperity, whatever that means to them, right? Because I think they find I have 2 daughters, I mentioned that off air, and they're just like, they're lucky they have me, right? So they can lean into me, but most people don't have that. They don't have that sort of economics around them or that positivity around them. So if someone can watch this and walk out with that intelligence, that'll be great. So how did you get from security, buying your first property. Like you mentioned, 14 properties.
In 12 months, yeah. It was a pretty good start. It still stands as an amazing statistic.
Like,
when you
how
compare
do you
to
do that?
Majority.
I don't.
A lot of risk.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable with risk.
Yeah.
I'm happy taking risk. And like,
Yeah.
I bought properties on credit cards that year. So I would take money out of, so when you, okay, I'd buy everything under market value. So whatever it is, I never pay retail. I'd buy it under what it's worth. I'd spend the minimal amount of money to fix it up. So a few $1,000s. So I'll give you an example. I'd buy a $260,000 home that's worth probably $320 to $340. I'd spend $20K on it. I'd take the rest of the equity and then I'd use it towards buying another property.
I want to pause there for a second. When you say under market value, how do you do that? Are you at that age? So you're young, right? So at that age, are you looking at the market, understanding the market, and,
Yes.
and sort of guessing where things are at?
Yeah, I've been on realestate.com till 2 a.m. many mornings learning about this and wondering how they all did it. But when that particular property I just referred to, that popped up online and I was quick to buy it. And the way in which I bought it was understanding the strategy of how agents worked. Because I'd spent time in an office. I pop in and say hello to my local Ray White there in Ingleburn, back in Sydney. And I learned that they had one contract because you'd print one contract for the office. So when someone's about to sign it, they're the ones buying the house. I'd call the agent and say, okay, listen, what's the cheapest you can give me this house for? It was on for $279. He'd go, listen, I can get it for $260. I said, listen, grab that contract. Don't let another agent sign it in the office. I'll be there in 20. I'll sign it. I'll pay you the 0.25% deposit before I even look at it because I've already calculated the fact that it's a 340 home. I'm buying for 260. Worst case, my renos are going to be 25 to 30K. They were 26. And I went and bought it, signed it, and then I went to look at the open house. And there was a whole bunch of people already at the open house, but I had already bought it. So it was understanding and gaining knowledge because you're interested in something. So I kind of behaved like a buyer's agent before I was a buyer's agent. Let's face it, right?
Yeah, because that's really original. People don't think like that.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
Like, so there's something about you that where you think and move fast, right? Like, I see people as being natural deal makers. You seem to have that flow about you. Most people don't have that.
I'll take that risk.
Yeah.
My worst case, I was going to lose what's 0.25 of 260. I can't remember what it was. It might be $750.
Yeah.
I'm willing to put down $750 for a potential equity uplift.
Yeah.
And I was on the hunt for about 4 properties that year. That was going to be a really cool year where I bought 4 properties.
Yeah.
Ended up being 14. But the 700 risk.
Yeah.
To know that I'm buying something under market value, that was a good risk to take. But I wanted to put down that 700 as opposed to going, okay, let me do the safe thing. Let me go view the property first. Let me have a look. Let me come back later. And then if it's good, I'll buy it. Well, you know what? Someone during that course of that time, those few hours, would have come into the office and bought it. So I just made sure that it was mine and risked that $750.
Yeah. Speed is really critical, right?
Speed kills deals.
So, man, I tell you, you have to be so fast.
Yeah.
And I say it to kids that are looking for rental properties. Like,
Yeah.
why would you go? And I drove past the property the other day. It was ridiculous. There would have been 20 people in a line.
Yeah.
None of those people, you're too late. Someone has already put an application, signed it, and said they'll take it, who's the optimum tenant for the owner.
Yeah.
And these people are lining up, going through and having a look at it without even putting an application in. Like, you got to be super fast in the market.
You do. But also, I think a lot of kids probably need to start acting like BDMs, right? They need to start acting like business development managers. Let the agents know who you are. Maybe even get them a cheeky bottle of wine, right? Let them know who you are. Let them know you're serious. Let them know you're a good applicant, so they know you, face to face. Shake their hand, and that will go a long way from standing out from the crowd, essentially. Because if there's 20 other people going for that property, how are you going to stand out? What are you doing to stand out to that manager to put you ahead of them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good advice. Be a sales guy or be a BDM.
Sales is natural to me.
So,
but
I can tell
not to everyone.
Yeah.
But it's definitely needed right now in the rental market.
Yeah. Just a quick pivot. So just on that sales thing, like you are quite natural at it. Like you communicate really well.
Yeah.
Did you always know that? Because being a security guard, right?
Yeah.
Did you realize that, there's probably something greater here? I'm probably destined to do this. I find that interesting in people sometimes.
The funny thing is, I took my way into a used car sales job, first job out of school.
Oh, really? Car sales.
So I called them on a Sunday morning at Nissan and I sort of said, hey, I'm calling about the job. And I convinced him to let me show up on the Sunday morning. So he said, come in. I showed up. He interviewed me, put me on the lot that day. And that was my first job. Used car. I'm not a used car salesman, by the way. I didn't last there.
Can we bleep that out? So just in case it damages his reputation.
Yeah, but naturally, I can sell.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's get back to it. So 14 properties, you're putting 0.25% down. You're running fast at the deal. You're speaking to the agent. No one signed a contract. I'll be in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Whew, that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So to get 14 properties, you said earlier on, man, I was using credit cards.
Yeah.
Because to buy 14 properties, you still have to have capital, right?
You do.
Well, I'm assuming you're moving towards equity in those first 1 or 2 properties and leveraging that. Is that correct? Is that
Yes.
what you did?
So I already had 3 properties and I acquired another 14 during the 12 months. The goal was to acquire another 4. It just ended up going a lot, ended up doing a lot better than I initially planned out. But we had 3 properties growing in the Sydney market at the time. Because don't forget, 2013, Sydney was booming. So I already had 3 properties already going up in value and they already had some cash to start. So then I went and bought those properties under value and I got the ball rolling. And then those other 3 were growing. So I'd refinance them later on in the year and then I'd use that equity to buy more. But at the same time, the bank would hand you a credit card with each loan that you get.
Yeah.
So I'd have these credit cards in a drawer piling up. And it wasn't long until I obviously had the light bulb moment where I was like, okay, hang on. If I empty each one of these 10 or 15 grand credit cards or 20 grand credit cards and I take all this money and I put it, you can't do this today.
No, well, it's because they don't give you a credit card anymore. That's why.
So, yes.
So I'm assuming they're saying it's like you have an offset account, right? And they're giving you that card to leverage a little bit because if you've got additional money against the mortgage,
I don't know. It's part of a product. So when you get the mortgage, they give you a credit card to use with that account. I don't know. It's just another ad sell. I suppose they think your credit's good, and they're trying to. The banks are taking advantage of you. They're like, hang on,
Oh, 100%. Well, they
22%.
They want you to go and buy that $20,000 trip to Bali, mate. That's
exactly.
That's what they want, right? So okay, cool. Carry on. So that's super interesting. That's high risk, by the way. You are a risk taker.
Yeah, but hang on, you got to calculate it, right? So if it's 22% per annum on that credit card, but I can go and take all those credit cards, put them into another account, get a loan approved. I can go buy a property under market value, and I can manufacture my equity. I can pay that credit card back straight away within 3 months or 6 months when that property is refinanced, and I'd probably pay half that 22% interest because I pay the money back in 6 months. What I've done is added another asset to my portfolio, and I'm ahead. The 22% is easy. It's actually not a lot of money when the game you're playing is more beneficial and the profits are better. And are you self-educated across all that data though in that strategy? Did you learn that strategy I made up? I've never seen anyone do that. I'm sure someone's done it, but I've never seen anyone.
Because that's kind of fast moving and you have to understand all the numbers and balance it all out, right? Equity and interest, durations and all that sort of stuff. Like that's kind of complicated.
But I'm also not that guy that will sit there and analyze it on paper. I'll just look at it and go, okay, that, done. That's the result. Let me make it happen. I'm like that. It all happens in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely not a academic
Are you kind of like that divining rod when you see a property go, if I buy that, I'm going to make X? Like, do you know?
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah.
Straight away. So I know immediately whether a property is a good deal. And it happens so quickly that I think if my clients watched me do it, they'd be puzzled or they think that I haven't done the right thing because it happens super quick. Also, I can price up the renovation on a property just like that.
Yeah.
Just looking at it, I know immediately.
You've probably done so many, right?
I've done so many. And it's just second nature.
Yeah. So I want to go back. So you were using banks. So for the 14 properties, were they banks?
They're all banks.
All different banks? Same banks?
Different banks.
All different
You've got to play banks off against each other.
You've got to move them around. Yeah. Are you flipping those banks after 12 months and getting a better deal, or are you just sitting stagnant on the bank with the property?
Yeah. You refinance all the time.
Yeah.
You refinance all the time. No one stays with the same loan. That's an old school thing. Yeah.
So how many times would you refinance a deal, say with a bank? Is it just dependent on where interest rates are moving and what they offer?
I was extreme. So I was in a very fast acquisition phase where my goal was to acquire as many properties as possible. So I didn't care about the bank fees to refinance. I didn't care about the lender's mortgage insurance. I had no care for the cost of doing business whatsoever. The goal was to just do business and just acquire and just grow, right? But for somebody else who's maybe a smaller time investor and they're buying 1 or 2 properties, well, it's important for them to maybe not pay LMI or make different moves. It just depends on what your personal circumstance is and what your goals are, right?
Are you doing this with your partner or on your own at this stage?
Partner.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had someone to lean into as well.
Yes.
Because was there a moment?
There's another pay slip.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this that's brilliant. So she was on board with that.
Yeah.
Was there a moment in the 14 properties? Because I would.
Yeah.
You started. You were super young, dude.
Yeah.
Super young.
Yeah.
Did you walk in one day and just go, oh, I'm freaking out right now. Like I have like over $2 million worth of property.
No,
It didn't
never.
happen, right?
Yeah, no. That doesn't worry me. Nothing.
Yeah.
None of that phases me.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable with risk for myself.
Yeah.
For my clients, no. Like I would skip building and pests, right? So I wouldn't do a building and pest inspection on a property for myself.
Wow.
Because
Really?
I'm comfortable with it. I know what it is. Sometimes, but because I can do it, I know what I'm planning to do with renovations on that property. I know what I can and can't get away with. For a client, I would never tell them skip your building and pest, right? So
Yeah, cool. So so with banks, what's your deal, or what are your thoughts on private equity, right, to build a portfolio, or using banks?
But listen, if you are in the position where you can get private equity, that is fantastic. But a lot of them won't look at you if you are entry level and a lot smaller.
Yeah.
When you get to a certain stage, you can look at them. But starting out, we all do the whole, CBA thing and then gradually move up.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I watched that. I mentioned to you off camera. I watched that video that that young guy, 7 properties.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was more than. Was it 7 properties? It was 7 properties.
Yeah. He's hit 10 now. Yeah.
He's at 10, and you did that pretty quickly. And in that video, you walked through a whole bunch of properties as well, which is kind of amazing. Some of those were really nice properties, by the way. So how does it work? Like, so I come to you and I go, hey, I want to build a portfolio. Is that how it works?
Yep.
And then you just get to work. Like, can you just walk me through the steps of that?
So let's say you want to build a property portfolio and you don't know where to start. You've got $200,000 maybe sitting in the bank or in shares. You've had enough of shares. Let's not start on the anti-share bandwagon.
Yeah.
I'm pretty strong on that one.
Yeah.
But you want to jump in and buy your first investment property, well, you'd come and see us. We'd talk to you about how we do it. I'd introduce you to everyone. Everyone that works with us is an expert in their field. So you will get a really good investment mortgage broker who understands how to structure and help you scale that portfolio. I'll send you to a good accountant to assist you with getting set up. And obviously myself as your buyer's agent, and everyone that's required throughout the process, we introduce you to, and everyone is obviously vetted by us. They work with us. They're the best in their field, and we'll ensure that you get that outcome, because that's specifically what we do. We're not a typical buyer's agency that just buys you a property. We are all about portfolio scale.
Many people know what a buyer's agent is, and there's not as many buyer's agents as there are real estate agents. I get probably 3 calls from real estate agents every week.
Yeah.
Do you want to sell your property, or do you want to buy this one, right? So can you just give us the difference between the two?
There is obviously a real estate agent represents the seller, buyer's agent represents the buyer. But there are 2 different types of buyer's agents. There are buyer's agents that are specifically there to represent you and buy you generally an owner-occupier type of home. But then there's buyer's agents like myself who are specifically investment-based. We understand how to analyze data. We understand how to scale a portfolio.
Yeah.
We have a solid understanding of cash-on-cash return, how to make money, how to buy off-market deals. It's a little bit different to a standard buyer's agent.
Yeah, so more strategy, right? Because
a lot of strategy.
Kind of a real estate agent, they just do a deal.
Yeah.
They're very transactional.
Yeah.
Off market, right? I'm like, Jesus, off market. This is one thing I struggle with. How do I get hold of properties off market? Because I don't want to bid against a whole bunch of people. I certainly don't want to go to a auction. Like the first property, I bought a couple of properties at auction. It was disastrous. I ended up paying $200,000 or $300,000 more than I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because it's emotional, right? Everyone's on site, and this person wants to buy it and I really want to buy it. And we're sort of pitching and catching against each other. Where if he wasn't there, I would have saved $200,000. So how do you buy off market?
Well, firstly, auction, I totally agree with you. Auction is one that we stay away from.
Yep.
I'm not interested in bidding against someone that's an occupier or has an emotional attachment to a property. With us, it's purely analytical. It's just numbers, and I need to get a good deal. So I'm not going to be the bidder who won the auction, who just won against someone who would have been the top bidder. That makes no sense to me. What I love to do is get my deals done during the week where I can find something off market, under market value, where that agent perhaps wants an easy deal. They don't know that they could get more. They don't know that market, because I'll know that a market's about to pop off because we'll have the data, and I'll go there just before, and then everyone will come in a few months later, and I'll know based on the data. So these people will sell us a property without knowing that the market's about to move up. The agent sometimes, and I do look for agents that don't really care too much about getting top dollar for their clients. They're more so looking for that easy deal. I'm looking for those agents. So I qualify agents. So a lot of them that go to auction, I'll avoid them and I'll ask for the sales process that most benefits me so that I can get the best deal for my client. At the end of the day, I represent my client.
I'll throw you a bit of a scenario. So I just bought this property. I just sort of finished building it. I have landscape to go, you know. By the way, landscape is a pain in the ass.
It's not cheap either.
It's not cheap. It's not like it used to be, right? But so I'm probably 2.5 in on this property. You know, the thing was to flip this property, which I still may do. But in front of me, there's a property that's standing in the way of an amazing 360 view of the city, right?
Right.
I want to buy that property. Would I come to you and say, hey, can you contact those people and give them an offer?
You're better off coming to me. You can't show them that you have a lot to benefit being that view. As soon as they know that they've got you, as soon as they know they've got you, you've got to know. Yeah. It's negotiation.
Yeah, because I bumped into the owner the other day and I was going to mention something to him. Would you consider, you know, and I'm glad I didn't. I was sort of thinking, if he knows I wants to buy, he's going to hold out.
Yes.
Right, as long as possible.
Yeah. So you want someone like me just to play dumb and say, listen, I've got someone who's just buying property in the area, whatever, and just downplay it. No vested interest.
I want to get you to do that. I want to buy it and I want to put 2 townhouses.
I'll drive past after this.
Actually, let's get him on the phone right now and do it live. Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's the difference between a buyer's agent, real estate agent, how all that works. So you basically build portfolios. So talk to me about what the client needs, right? Like if I was to come to you, you would go, oh, you need a credit score of this, you need this amount of money. Like how does that come?
So I don't so much do the finance. I'll send that to a mortgage broker.
Okay, great.
But a client will come to me and it's important for them to understand what they want to achieve, what their goals are. So you'll get clients come to me that are just going, hey, I just want to buy an AMG. I'm 23. I want to buy an investment property so I can have a property and buy an AMG. Then you got someone who will want to see 150,000 passive income by 2035. Or I'd love to retire. Or I'd love to buy each of my kids a house so that they're all set up. You know, everyone's got a different goal that's unique to them.
Yeah, right. So can you walk me through with some specifics? I want to go back to that video that I watched last night. The guy where you I think it was 12 months, maybe it was a little bit longer, $7 million portfolio.
Yeah.
One property after the other. Just walk me through, how do you do that with a client? Like, is it slow and steady? Is it aggressive? Does he get involved or do you just present him deals? Like how does that work?
Yeah. So this is all based on their risk profile. So there are people that will take time. They want to buy one every year or one every 2 years. They're not too fast on moving quickly, right? Everyone is at a different stage. This particular individual came from a larger buyer's agency. They have a 7-8 month wait list and he needed me to execute quickly and we don't have that long of a wait list. We're a smaller company and we just jumped in and he was ready to go. He's obviously educated already. One of his old buyer's agents was one of the individuals that taught me back in the day, 15 years ago. So we had that in common. So we have that same mindset. And I basically just jumped in one after another. And because he's comfortable with risk. He's bought many properties in the past. He understands how the game works. He knows that I'm an expert in the data and I know how to acquire properties fast. He just lets me do my thing. So with those type of investors that are at that level, they kind of have that total trust and faith in you because they know you're good at what you do and they just let you execute it. But someone who might be a novice might have to really analyze everything, might come in with emotion. They're at a different stage. And I think that's how everyone is.
Yeah, I think that emotion just slows you down, right? Like, you know, there is that adage, you know, people get emotionally attached to a property. I really want that, or you know, and that's going to cost you money. Yeah. So, so talk to me about a risk profile. So this particular client of yours, he'd already got some experience. By the way, does he have a contract with that other buyer's agent, or can he just?
Oh, he's out of it. Yeah, he's out of it. Yeah.
But I mean, is that normally the case? Is this a contractual arrangement with your clients, or do they just come to you and they can move on whenever they want?
Oh, they just got to send me an email and say they move on. I'll never hold anyone to anything.
Yeah, okay, great.
No,
cool.
Not our style.
So you're buying property that's off market all over the place.
Yeah.
So he's not even seen the property.
No.
Is he seeing that he's not seen the property?
No.
Okay. No. So he's got to really trust you, right?
He's got to really trust us, mate.
Yeah. So do you just give him the numbers?
But before we give him the numbers, but before we usually buy somewhere, I'll visit that area. So I'll pop out there. I'll get to know agents. I'll I want to know where the landmarks are. I want to drive around it. I want to get a feel for it just so I know it, right? It's very important that I know it.
Yeah.
The data, obviously data doesn't lie. So
Yep.
we know that the area, the hotspot is forming, the market pressure is building, the supply is reducing, demand is increasing. All the fundamentals are there. That's all a given, but it's always good to have a solid understanding of where you're going.
Do you do a feasibility for the client that they
Yes.
pay for, or do you just kind of do it naturally?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a cash flow spreadsheet. I'll do it in my head immediately. I'll know in my head, just looking at it, what the numbers are, if it stacks up and if it works. That's a 10-second thing. Then we do a DD pack. DD pack's about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Do you buy anything off the plan?
Never. It's
Why?
been done before and it's just not right.
Why?
I just disagree with it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't make money off the plan,
Yeah.
right? If you buy the right thing at the right time, you will make money. There's always someone making money somewhere, but it's generally paying a premium for something where I'd rather go buy something that's a little bit older and buy it under market value. We can buy one with 40,000 Ks for 17K. That's 3 years old. I'd always buy that because that represents value for money. And this is the same way I look at property. I look at the value for money. Wherever I'm at with whatever I'm buying. And the goal is to never pay retail. And if you can buy that value for money, you're always ahead.
Oh, I love that. Never pay retail.
Yeah.
Jesus. Apply that to everywhere in your life, right?
I've done it before, though. I'm sitting here telling you never pay retail, but I have.
Yeah. Well, you have to. You got to make the mistakes, right? Like that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
So are your clients buying to just get return on investment and equity, or are they buying to, renovate, rebuild, knock it down, build townhouses? Talk to me about what
That's awesome. Great question. So everyone's got a different strategy. So the clients that come to me going, hey, I want to do a 6-pack project somewhere. I want to park some money. I've done, duplexes in Sydney. I want to do something up here. That's a particular type of client.
Yeah.
You'll have a client that's like, okay, I'm busy. I'm an executive, or I've got family commitments in Sydney. I want you to buy me something that gives me no problems, no headaches. I don't want to develop and I don't want to renovate. I'll buy them what they want, what they need, what suits their profile. I think everything is custom and tailored to who you are and what you need. But whatever it is, know that we've utilized pretty much every strategy, and we can do that for you.
So okay, let's do a role play, right? Not a weird one, but like a normal business.
I never thought weird.
So I'm a client, and maybe I might be a client, right? Because I'm looking to up my property game. So I'm an executive. I'm busy. I have no time, right?
Yep.
So what I want to do is I want to buy maybe a couple of properties every year for the next few years. Just slow it down. Maybe two in the first, one next year, and then maybe 3 the year after, and just sort of see how it goes, right?
Yep.
I've got some equity.
Yep.
I've got some cash. What would you advise? Now, I don't care where it is. I really like the older home.
Yep.
To grow equity in it.
Yep.
I don't want to buy I don't want to buy retail.
Yep.
How would you advise me, and where would we start?
Interesting. So we would speak to a mortgage broker, or you give me a price point. So if you've already been to the broker, you got a price point of $750,000, for example, to buy that.
What if I don't know my price point?
Speak to the broker. The broker's going to establish, because I'm obviously not a financial advisor or have any of those qualifications. I rely on those industry professionals to come back to us.
Yeah.
They're going to assess.
So will he do a financial assessment of my situation?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
And he's going to say, okay, cool. Lawrence is in a great position. Lawrence can go buy, $2 million worth of property. And okay, with $2 million worth of property, we could split that into, 750, a 750 and another, 700 or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So,
we're talking leveraging equity only right now?
are you putting in cash at the start, or are you just using equity?
Well,
I'd rather use equity and then keep your cash on you for whenever you need it, and you can use it later.
Yeah.
That's
question.
the way I'd do things.
Okay, question. And I think a lot of people have this question. So, I don't want to use my equity because if the market tanks, I'm screwed. Right? Like I've got no borrowing power anywhere.
100%. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you seen the market tank?
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah. So we're going to go glass half empty, glass half full. I say this myself to all my clients. There'll be a crash at some point. But when is that? Is that 2 cycles later, or 3, or 2045? Are you going to not play it? Because I tell you what, I've got friends, even an accountant friend of mine in 2010 used to tell me Sydney property was expensive at $500,000, and always warned me against it. How'd that work out?
It's funny, right? In that first conversation, we said, "Oh, your first house was 300 and whatever, and mine was 450."
See?
I would have bought every house on the street. All right.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, cool, great. So the broker says, "Okay, use equity if you've got it."
Yeah.
You know, and then he provides an assessment to you, and then you come to me and you go, "Great." So we've got some room to play here.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. We also have a new. We also are partnered with another company that does portfolio modeling, which is a super cool feature. It's a new product. It's called Zappio. So shout out to Zappio, Josh and the team. What it does is you can literally input your position, and you can say, "Yeah, I've got $200,000 cash, but based on that, by 2035, I'd love to have 150,000 passive income." Or by 2035, I want to have a $3 million equity position, and then I want to buy commercial. And this will map out your purchases each year based on how it all works. And it's so visual. It shows you that it can be done. It's a really cool product. So if you're looking at portfolio modeling, we'd send you to portfolio modeling as well.
Yeah, right. So you work with a few different partners, and then once the investment strategies, sort of, or the financial component of it's been done, it comes to you, and then you sit me down, right?
Yeah.
You go, "Lawrence,
Yeah.
here's the deal." So you give me options, is that right?
I'll give you options. At the end of the day, I work for you. I will tell you what I feel is the right thing for you and what I'd be doing if I was in your shoes. At the end of the day, you make the call yourself. I'd run your data. I'd run your data set based on what you're looking to achieve. So if you're looking for that fast growth in the first year so you can extract equity and go again, I'd find you a market that will produce that 20%. If you're looking for a market that's like, well, it's going to have a lot of growth in it, so you're going to hold it for a longer period of time. You want to buy something that's just starting to move and it's just kicking off and it's been stagnant for some time and it's going to have great growth year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, then I can find you that market as well. That'll be a slower equity release. It just depends on your strategy. So I'll discuss this with you and I'll run your data set and I'll actually pinpoint the area we should go.
Yeah. Will you tell me no when you need to?
I'll tell you I wouldn't be doing this. Yeah, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
I say you do this if you want, but I'll buy you a caravan in Alice Springs if you want. Like it's your call. But I'll tell you my opinion. You pay me for it.
Yeah.
I suggest you listen to it. But at the end of the day, some people make decisions that make them comfortable.
Yeah.
You see? So it's about you being comfortable and being happy. I want you to sleep at night. I don't want you to leave and go, geez, Michael did this to me. I'm all for working with you.
So I'll go back to the guy, the 7 million guy, right?
There's a couple. There's the guy who started with one deposit 3 years ago, has a $7.4 million, $7.6 million portfolio now in 3 years. Then there's a guy who's just last week, which was 6 properties in 6 months. He's got 10 properties.
It was that guy.
Yeah. Okay.
It was that guy.
Cool.
So he's running.
Sorry, I'm just giving myself 2 plugs here.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. We'll see if we can find a third a little bit later on. So he's running fast,
Yeah.
right? So he's a great client for you.
Yeah.
Because he's a risk taker.
Yeah.
Right. And he's moving really quickly.
Yeah.
So are you managing the deals for him?
Yeah. Yeah. He's working directly with myself.
And but I mean, so he buys the property, it sits in his portfolio. Does that portfolio sit with you? And are you moving that around banks when the time's right?
Not at all. They're all his properties in his entities. So he's using trust structures and company entities. Yep. They're all his. They're owned by him, and he just pays me the fee to find him the best deal in the newest upcoming market. And quite often than not, I buy it under value, and I pay for my fee a few times over. Yeah.
So how do you monetize? Do you get a percentage of the deal?
No, I just charge him $19K plus GST.
Yeah.
That's it. You just pay me for my time and for what the problem I solve. And the problem I solve is buying the right property in the right area that's going to get you that capital growth. He made $500,000 in the last 6 months across those 6 properties with a combination of me buying under market value and those properties growing a little bit. So for his $500K that he made, he paid me the buyer's agent fee on each one. Yeah.
Here's a question I get asked from the youngsters, right? Is okay, I buy a property for say $750,000. All right, I paid a 5% deposit or a 10% deposit. The rent is covering 90% of the mortgage.
Yeah,
I've got to put in 10%.
Yeah,
right. That's hard for a young kid to be able to do that. What's a strategy to sort of overcome that?
There's not a lot of positive cash flow properties these days.
Yep.
So he's put down a 10% deposit. He's got a 90% LVR and he's bought his first home. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Renting out a room is one. So buying the house, renting out a room is a good one, and that will help assist with the mortgage payments on that loan for him. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not really a lot you can do, is there? You just have to have a little bit of extra cash until you can get some momentum, I guess.
True, but also the other sneaky one, if you're in Queensland, those high-set Queensland homes, if they're built out downstairs and you go to buy one of those as your first home, you could rent downstairs as well to some friends and get some good. Obviously, it's not. Yeah. Obviously, it might have to be a cashy. It might not be.
Yeah.
So we didn't say that, but we said it.
There's no one from the ATO watching this, by the way.
No.
It's fine. So what's the biggest mistake that you see that clients make when entering the real estate space?
Doing it themselves and thinking that they can do it themselves. The funny thing is, in this market, with the way it's going up, a lot of people are overpaying. So they jump in and they buy stock and they overpay. So we're seeing $700,000 houses sell for 800, and it shouldn't be the case. They're just paying too much. If the government pulls the rug from under us with that scheme, that's not gonna play well for them. So I think a lot of people don't understand the value, where to buy, how to buy, and how to buy at the right price. It's a difficult game out there where a lot of people are trying to buy themselves a property and they're competing against other investors. They're competing against first home buyers. But then you've got buyer's agents. So then the buyer's agents will generally beat the lot of them. And then you've got tiers to the buyer's agents. Like, I will beat the majority of buyer's agents. Shout out to the buyer's agents. But I'll beat the majority of the buyer's agents if I come up against them one-on-one, because I understand the game probably better than the majority, right? So there's tiers to this where you're just going to miss out time and time again. And then you're going to run into that point where you're going to be running on emotion and stress and anger. And you're going to go out there and do something stupid. And that's when they're going to get you. You're going to overpay. You're going to make a mistake. Or you're going to buy the wrong asset. So in a boom market where you can't buy and you miss out, eventually you're like, geez, I'll accept this property at a set of traffic lights on a main road that's got termites, right? Because you're at your wit's end. And it's human nature to make that mistake at that point.
What's the average turnaround time for a client to get a property?
4 to 6 weeks for us.
Wow. That's super fast.
Yeah. I like to keep it at that, because if we're here for 3 months chasing the best deal, the market's already moved.
Yeah. Plus you're losing money, right?
Losing money.
God, real estate agents must hate you guys.
No, they love us.
Do they?
Some like us, some don't. But you know what? I select who I want to work with. Like I was saying to Beck, I qualify agents. A lot of buyer's agents don't even know how to do this, but I qualify real estate agents. And I was saying that to you earlier about how I make sure that the sales process that sales agent is following is beneficial to myself and the outcome I'm looking to get for my clients. So if they're like, oh, we're going to auction, don't send it to me. Like, I'm never going to show up to your auction because I'm not going to be bidding against someone and overpaying. Or if they're like, hey, okay, on a Saturday, we're going to go to open house, and then we're going to have everyone put in their offer, and then we're going to do best and final. And then all that becomes is just a Dutch auction, right? I'm looking for those sneaky, easy deals during the week where we get them before they go to open on weekend.
So you have to be really tapped into the matrix, right? Like you've got to have your fingers in so many pies to be able to do that well for your clients.
Yeah.
So you're working with real estate agents, and all of you guys are just like, deals are popping up, right?
Yeah.
And then you're pushing those to your clients as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. That's so interesting. So here's a question that, as you were saying that, I went, oh yeah, this is a question I get asked a lot as well.
Yeah.
Also by the young people.
Yeah.
Right. When I say the young people, I said to you, I'm 130 years old, so I'm talking about, people in their 20s. Everyone, there's this hype on, especially on Instagram and TikTok, about a real estate career. Like, I know all these young kids, I want to get into real estate, right? So they do the real estate course, they get into real estate, and they think it's really, really easy.
Yeah.
And I think that's bullshit. I think it's probably one of the hardest things that you can get into right now.
Yeah.
What's your advice for young people thinking about moving into a real estate career? Where would they start? Is it optimal? Is it the right decision? And is it as easy as everyone thinks it is?
No, it's being switched on 24/7. So if you're naturally the type of person who's a 4:59 p.m. I'm off home, then you're a council worker, straight up, right? If you're an entrepreneur, no. But the best part about that is they can switch off, right? They don't have to answer their phone. In real estate, if you don't answer your phone, your boss is going to be down your throat, right? So it's one of those things where you've got to know how you're wired to find the best career. And I think the tough part about that in school was you had to be 17. We had to pick a career path. And we didn't know anything about what we were good at. And I mean, I didn't know that I was a natural salesman at school. It's something we learned later on. I didn't know I was a really good BDM for my own business. Back in the day, I didn't know that. I had to learn that. So I think if you're wired for real estate, you're switched on, you like to work Saturdays, you're hungry, I think, it'll suit you. But understand that it's a tough game.
I'm back to the 7 million guy again.
Yeah.
All right. I keep going back to him. So it's not the $6 million man, it's the $7 million man.
Yeah.
Who's now actually a $10 million man. Can anyone do that?
Yes. It's actually so easy. People don't realize how easy this is, because buying properties in data set areas, right, knowing where to go, the market just jumps. It's buying before others get there. And this is where I've refined what we do really, really well and why we're one of the best in our space. It's knowing where to go and buying at the bottom of the cycle. It's about to kick off and the equity uplift is there. And if you've got to do some basic renos, these are the best bang for buck renos, is getting a handyman to give it a coat of paint, and then call the local carpet court in whatever city you're in and just get some floating floorboards or whatever for $5K and freshen up that property. And then in 3 months, 6 months time, it'll have that little bit of a, growth. Then you've done that, uplift in that freshen up, and there's your equity. It's simple, and you just keep repeating it.
Yeah, the renovations is a tough one, right? I think people go in and they kind of buy the home on emotion, like they're going to move into it. Well, by the way, would you recommend they move into it or buy a tenanted property already?
Okay, I think there's quite a few different strategies there. If you can, the rent vesting strategy where you rent your property where you want to live. So let's say you want to live in Brisbane City. You'd rent that property and then you'd buy investment properties elsewhere, and you would have better serviceability with the banks to go and buy more property. That's why people love rent vesting and renting where they want to live and not living in their own home. So back in the day, remember, everyone would buy their own home that they wanted to live in. Now that's not as common. But I still don't mind utilizing the principal place of residence because there's a tax exemption. So if you can buy 1, 2, 3 investment properties and then have one that you live in that you own, and then you do a renovation over the next couple of years whilst you live there, and you get that uplift and you change it from a 3-bedroom to a 4-bedroom, you do a new kitchen, you do a new bathroom, and then you sell it for $500K more in 3 years' time because you've done this huge uplift, that's tax-free dollars. And you just keep upgrading your principal place of residence as you go, but you still have your portfolio on the side as well. But there's so many different ways.
Yeah, it can get kind of confusing for people and for me as well, right? Like, I did real estate back in the day, but I did commercial real estate, and I was normally focused on leasing. So talk to me about commercial. Do you do commercial?
We don't do commercial. Just residential. I never made the switch to commercial in my portfolio as I was going down the developer path. But honestly, some of the yields that are in commercial are amazing. So much less head. As you can see, like, this is a beautiful office, and it's very, very simple. You never see the landlord. You never complain to him because he doesn't care. And he collects his checks, right?
Yeah, that's right. Let's say I've got $1 million in equity. And I come to you. I don't want to spend any cash, right? I don't need to see the property. And would I say to you, I want a return of X, or would you advise me on what sort of return I would expect over a period of time? Now, I'm a long-term investor, not a short one, right? So I do that, and then you just get to work, because you said about, was it 4 to 6 weeks? You're closing deals
to find you the deal.
Yeah, right.
Okay. But I'd want you to have a chat, obviously, with your accountant. Let them know what you're doing. Get your advice based on your circumstances and your position. I don't jump into that too much. And then obviously talk to the broker. What I wouldn't mind you doing is the portfolio modeling. So with that $1 million, you can have a look and say, here's a couple of different scenarios. So if I buy in trusts, or I buy this in my personal name, and here's a couple of different outcomes. If I'm chasing X amount of passive income by this period, or by this period, I want to sell and down pay and buy a commercial, or whatever it is you want to do, portfolio mapping would probably be a real eye opener for you. And you could run a couple of different scenarios to really find out what it is that you want.
It's funny, right? I think people buy property because it's ingrained in belief systems. It's the dream, right? White picket fence, a home to call your own, raise a family in. What do you think of that concept?
Oh, it's interesting. I think they've got us running a 30-year mortgage to stay in debt. All right. So without opening that, I think it's great. It keeps you working. Go to work so you can pay for an expensive property just to live. Right. It's a whole. I don't know. You've got to play the system. There's a system there in place. The way I look at this is it's all a game. Everything is a game here. You just have to navigate this the best way possible. Yeah. Right. And that is not buying at auction, maybe not buying a principal place of residence, not being a slave. See, your money's either working for you or you're working for it. It's simple. It's just a game that you've got to navigate. That's the way I see it. And when you've got people that are in the know that know how to play that game well, you succeed, you know?
I always have this vision sometimes. I think historically about business models, right?
Yeah.
I could just imagine 3 or 4, you know, in the 1850s, Americans sitting in Texas smoking cigars and drinking single malt whiskey going, let's come up with a plan and let's call it the American dream.
Yeah.
And let's lock people. How can we lock people in for 30 years of their life to pay us? Yeah. That's what it is, right? It's like a sentence.
It is.
And people become a slave to their mortgage.
Yeah.
Because they think that's what they should do. And that's not necessarily right. Now I understand that. And we can, have a short debate about this, but I understand that owning your own property creates this element of security for you and your family, right? Great. Oh, cool. But it's also a burden. Right?
It is.
And they're not using it the way that they should. They think that going to the hardware store every weekend and painting that side of the house and planting that tree is adding. Look, I'm assuming they're getting happiness out of that, which is great. I'm not a big fan of happiness. I much prefer fulfillment. But and they get locked into that.
Yeah.
And then they become they do that for 30 years of their life.
Yeah.
And then they die.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah,
right?
It is.
And what you're saying is, is it doesn't have to be that way. You've got an asset. Use that goddamn asset to support your children, to provide a better future for your children, to pay for their university education, their health. But some people don't do that. And I think there's this legacy of people, especially fathers, who go, I'm going to pay this. And I know these people, and they're great people, by the way, but they didn't educate themselves on economics. Is they work so hard all their life, some of them 2 jobs, to pay this house off and gift it to their children. Their children come in, sell the property, spend the money, and then they're broke.
Yeah.
You see that? Like 100%. I see that.
100%. Easy money, easy come, easy go. The school system doesn't teach this. This is why education after, when you're an adult, education on how the system works, how the world works. I remember, researching about centralized banking, back in 2006. It was exactly when YouTube came out. I was watching videos on what was it? Fractional reserve lending, right? So I was always intrigued into how the system worked and how money worked because I was interested in money. But they didn't teach me money at school. If they sat me down and taught me money at school, I promise you I would have been an A student.
Yeah, I hear that heaps, and I totally agree with you. They're not teaching children what they should be in the curriculum at school. And the models are really old because you need you need state governments and federal governments to align to be able to change the syllabus, right? So it's still going to take a long time. But kids are leaving school and they don't know how to put a budget together. They don't know what bills they need to pay and how to manage their economics. They don't know what taxes.
No.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we wonder why sometimes that, the economy of your society is failing.
Yeah.
It's because they don't know how to do anything else.
Is it failing or is it a success by design? Depending on which side of the fence you're on.
Shit, now we're getting all Joe Rogan on people. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, but you're right though, right? And I think it's by design. I think it's probably both. I think there's always a compilation of many things at play, and over time in society, especially when you incorporate, governing, from state and federal governments and national and world governments, by the way, how can we manage society as it scales? Like if we look at America, they have, God bless them, they have some issues right now. And what they did is they let a lot of people into the country that put burdens on the tax system, on the employment system, right? And on all these other systems, including the real estate system, right? And those people weren't paying the regimented amount of taxation that goes back into the system So the system starts to fall over a little bit, and the economics crack, and then the company goes into debt. That debt creates pressure. Then it affects the market, right? Wall Street, and all these things are at play. You know, and that's the system, right? It's got to be self-perpetual.
Yeah.
Like so, and real estate is probably one of the biggest levers in that.
It is, and it's interesting. It's a very different system over there to Australia.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot more of a stable and more robust economy. But I've been, and I'm sort of pivoting now a little bit, but I was watching how easy it is to get loans there. And how easy, like I could go to the bank and say,
well, do you remember 2008? It was very easy, right?
Yeah, I can go there and say, listen, I've got this wreck of a house and I need you to give me all the money to buy the house, and they'll give you all the money. And then on top of that, give me the money to renovate the house as well. So they'll give you 100% to acquire the house, which is not livable, not habitable.
Yeah.
And then you say, I need 60K for the rehab.
Yeah.
That's what they call their rehab. So give me the 60K, and then you literally do the entire project just on all their money. Whereas in Australia, you won't get that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more freer over there. I think, I know I've looked at the American system and gone, geez, it's a lot easier. And I think a lot of people from New Zealand look at Australia going, it's a lot easier here.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that true?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Do you play in the New Zealand market? It's pretty close to us.
Not at all. Not at all. I've got a client trying to get some equity out of New Zealand, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, look, let's park the Joe Rogan, because I could talk about that stuff forever, right? Because I think there's some, I think people can be naive, and they don't mean to be, but you know, uneducated people, they just don't know, you know, and it's a shame that you know you see great people, good people, really good people, you know, work so hard, and basically get to the end of their life and they don't have anything.
Yeah.
Because they haven't figured out how to use their biggest asset, and it's the biggest asset and investment for a family.
It is.
You know, it's you know, it's not buying a Prius and upgrading to the next Prius when it comes out. Like this, you can't live, or maybe you can live in your Prius, but you can't live in your Prius with your family, right? So this is, you know, what is it? Home is where the heart is, right? And there's that, like you mentioned that word De Beers, or maybe I did at the start.
Yeah.
You know, so it's trying to unlock that for people and get them to think differently, especially the older people.
Yeah.
And the young people just have no fucking idea.
No.
So,
but I think one thing we can agree on is you've got to get more of an education than just from your media or your standard media.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll never get out of the matrix, or you'll never,
Yeah.
you know, better your life with your investing. Whichever path you go down, doesn't matter where you're going, whether it's property or not. But you need to educate yourself more than just the standard media.
Yeah, it's funny when we were speaking about high school, right? Like they don't teach economics to high school students, right? You have to specialize and go to university and all that sort of. And even then, the education is pretty poor.
Yeah.
But everyone's got access to all the information on their handsets now, on their phones, right?
Yeah.
You can access any piece of data that you want. You know, I've got AI apps on my phones. I can probably access RP data on all these things, right? And I think what it is focus. Is that if you want to invest in real estate and make money and have a healthy, successful life based off the biggest asset that you'll ever purchase, you have to find the right people to educate yourself. Because there's so much bullshit information in the market about it. It's crazy.
There is, but you can't learn it at uni. So I'll give you a little story. My cousin went to uni and he studied property.
Yeah.
In his property class, and this is when I bought 14 properties in 12 months. This is the year after, I think. And then the lecturer told him, he goes, you can't make money in real estate. You better make money in stocks. And that was the lecturer at uni in Western Sydney telling him that. And he put his hand up and he said, listen, my cousin's done this and that. You know, so even the system going to uni won't explain to you how you can do property. You really need to analyze and learn from people that have done it themselves.
Yeah.
Sorry, not getting...
No, I get it. You know? I get it. Like there's a lot of, you know, dime store millionaires out there. I'll show you how to make $1 million. Have you done it? No. But I'm going to tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
Come
the
on.
old whiteboard videos on Insta now. Everyone's got a whiteboard video.
Yeah.
About how you make money, but they haven't done it themselves.
Yeah. So we talk about money that we've made, strategies that we've deployed that worked, right? But there's a whole bunch of bullshit out in the market, and I always advise people, don't watch it. Just turn it off. If it sounds too good to be true, guess what it is, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I just got a couple more questions for you.
Let's go.
So negotiation, right? What would your advice be for someone who's just buying through if they're a standard real estate agent, right? Because agents can be quite aggressive, right? Depending on who their client is, right? Their buyer or the seller. What are sort of top 3 negotiation tips if someone listening was to go to an agent looking to, say, buy a property? Because buyers, if there's an agent working for the seller, they want to get the best price for the seller.
Yeah.
And then there's an agent working for the buyer who wants to get the best price for the buyer. So what would your advice be for that particular individual?
For that particular individual, firstly, use a buyer's agent. That would be the easiest one, right? Because the buyer's agent will come in without emotion. If you're going at it by yourself, show the agent that you're serious about what you're doing. Let them know that you're pre-approved. Don't show any emotion in the negotiation, and don't talk too much. Don't reveal too much of your position. Just get out there, chat with them, and try and close. Essentially, it's a tough one. They're going to see through you. So whatever I'm telling you, you have to understand that the real estate agent is probably some of the best negotiators in the country, right? They negotiate for a living on a daily basis against the general public. They will generally eat you alive. They will know how to pick exactly who you are. I negotiate the negotiators on a daily basis. There's a huge difference. I think when you're out there, it's just tough. I'd love to give you something more positive. I'd love to give you something a bit more positive, but
these
try not to show emotion. Try not to show emotion.
I like the advice is just, less information. Just say less, right?
Because they'll be analysing you for everything.
Yeah.
Have you got your pre-approval? How much do you have to spend? Can you go this much?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got other buyers. I've got this. I've got another offer. The classic one is, I've got another offer. I've got a higher offer. I've already received an offer of X amount. Well, the real estate agent's not supposed to tell you that he's got $750,000 offer. He's not allowed to reveal that he's got that offer. But he'll just throw it out there just to see if you'll pay that. And then you'll see if you pay $760. And they'll just drive the price up and they'll play with you.
Yeah.
You've got to be very careful. Not all of them. There's some good ones, but
cool. Yeah. Okay. And last question. So if someone's buying their first investment property in 2026, what's the single piece of advice you would give to them right now?
Don't pay retail. Don't pay retail. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I think that's great, man. Because that's what I've always been doing.
Yeah.
I've got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
I think the last property I purchased, I probably paid, I think I paid about $400,000 more than I should have.
Yeah, it's too much.
It was really sad.
But it's also showing that you're not interested. Like I said, with that neighbor of yours, it's just got to be casual. Buyer, give them nothing. It's just a private buyer, whatever.
Yeah.
Like you can't show that you want something. Best negotiations are when you don't give a
yeah. You can swear.
Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say
the best negotiations are when you don't give a
yeah.
because I don't care. Why not? It is what it is, right? But when someone really wants something, that's when the agent will press you and you'll pay. Yeah.
Really good advice, man. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
A couple of takeaways from me. That advice about holding things close to you and just not saying anything, I think is super important for people to learn. I love the don't pay retail. And I love that it's easier than you think it is, right? That's what I'm learning walking out of this. It's just easier than you think it is. So for those young kids who are looking to buy property and have sort of got their shit together, how would they contact you and reach out to you and maybe even just have a conversation with you?
Easy. Michael Ležaja. I'm the only one in the country. You can find me pretty easily. PinnacleBuyersAgents.com.au. We've also got a YouTube channel where you can watch plenty of our videos, and that's Pinnacle Buyers Agents on YouTube.
Awesome, dude.